All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Let's see if it's local or city search. Well, actually, they're both combined here. Have BSS, yes or no? And we're back in the GBC universe, taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More about that in the pin post or whatever, the main post of this profile. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. It means we're missing out on the highest, somewhere along this intent capture curve, we're missing out on the highest intent people, the lowest intent people somewhere. Usually it's the highest intent people. So over on the left, we're focusing on the highest intent people. If we're missing them, it means normally we've got BSS, boudoir search sameness. Over on the right, BLCS, that is our sister brand of boudoir FB ad doctor. Right now for a boudoir photographer spending more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. But BSS here, we're focusing on highest intent people, people searching for a boudoir photo shoot right now on social search and Google search. So the highest intent peeps. Now, boudoir search sameness is when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 slots, terrible on page 1 because we know that approximately 80% of all Google searches never go to page 2. So we care about that 80%. That's the bulk, which means we definitely got to be page 1, and then we got to maximize ourselves being on page 1. And 1 slot on page 1 Google is not good enough because everyone else on there has got 1 slot as well. So we're looking the same as everyone else. We're essentially still invisible. Now, 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's extremely common, but it is not normal. We actually need to have, we want to have 3 out of 10 on page 1 of Google at a minimum. At local, that's the GBC minimum we shoot for here at the local search and the city search levels. So 0, 1 slots on page 1 is not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone knows about. And the second, the false belief of page 1 equality. This second part, the false belief of page 1 equality, from what I see, is the #1 killer of boudoir photography businesses. So market saturation, that means, more boudoir photographers entering the market, seems like every day. Every time someone gets a new iPhone, they're throwing up their Google My Business profile, throwing up their website. If they get a camera, they're posting in the mom groups on Facebook saying they do boudoir photo shoots now. And what does that do? That gunks up page 1 of Google search. And when that happens, then when that gets gunked up, we get pushed down to only 1 slot on page 1, or we get pushed off all the way to page 2. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality is the biggest killer because everyone believes that it's normal. Hey, I had 1 slot on page 1. Yeah, more boudoir photographers entered the market. Now I'm on page 2. I got my 1 slot on page 2. That's it. And that's simply how it goes. But no, that's a false belief because I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search in 10 days using the solution I'm going to show today. And it's a false belief because it's not true, but it's the #1 killer boudoir photography businesses that I've seen because people just kind of relent to the fact that, market got more saturated, and what are you going to do? That's normal. We got pushed off. It is what it is. And now we also know that a boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Either disappearing because they got 1 link, same as everyone else, so they kind of become invisible, boudoir search sameness, or they're kicked off page 1 completely on page 2, and it literally makes them extra invisible. And disappearing boudoir photographer, that is a precursor to a disappearing boudoir photography business. That's kind of the canary in the coal mine. So we can see our universe taking shape here. A DBP with BSS is caused by market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Luckily, we got a solution here though, because BSS is treated with social search saturation. So it's our S-cubed methodology. that we invented. And again, I use this to go from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 in 10 days. And this is the only thing I've seen that is able to successfully fight back against market saturation. Here's why. So, A, people have to accept that page 1 equality is a false belief before they even use it. But B, once they use it, let's say we take it to the max, GBC minimum, we're trying to get 3 out of 10 for local search and then city search using the S-cubed methodology. But let's say we take it to the max and, let's say there's a million boudoir photographers in our city, like Cincinnati. And we do S-cubed methodology to the max. So we're literally ranked for the highest intent keywords, the first 300 slots, on Facebook search, Instagram search, TikTok search, YouTube search. We're the only ones that can be found, and the result of that is we're also the only ones ranked the top 300 searches in Google. 10 organic searches per page times 30 pages. And even if there's a million boudoir photographers in our city, we don't even notice. Our business keeps growing because everyone else has BSS, boudoir search sameness, either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And no matter where anyone turns, we're basically the only option they can find. So that's why, again, S-cubed methodology is the only thing I've seen that's able to successfully fight back against market saturation. Now, once true with S-cubed methodology, we now have page 1 visibility. This means we hit our GBC minimum 3 out of the 10 organic slots. Now we're looking way different. Everyone else got 1, maybe one special person's got 2, but we got 3. I mean, we're standing out. People actually see us by the 3rd time they're scrolling down and see our name again. The second bonus is we're kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1. Every extra link we get on page 1 kicks an extra competitor off, kicks them to page 2, effectively making them invisible because we're focusing on the approximately 80% of Google searches that never go past, that never click past and actually go to page 2. Now, page 1 visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So again, people can actually see us in the search, even though previously we were there with our 1 slot. Now we want to get there for our 3 out of 10 slots. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, which, dude, that's a precursor to anyone buying from us. If we're invisible, no one's buying from us. If we're disappearing, fewer and fewer people are buying from us. So if we're visible. And dude, this is just starting the momentum. We can continue the momentum, take 4 slots on page 1, 5 slots on page 1. Kind of as far as we can push it. It's basically as far as the strategy will take us. This is our full universe here. Declining boudoir photographer or disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by market saturation and the number 1 boudoir photography business killer, the false belief of page 1 equality. No. We can have as many slots on Google page 1 as we want to put in the effort to acquire. I've already proven it. We'll see that in the next picture. Do that by utilizing S-cubed methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. This is the correct track we gotta be on to become the number 1 boudoir photographers in our city. So my use using S-cubed methodology, kind of my most recent use, ranking for BLCS Boudoir. So this is for the other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. And got an AI overview here. Okay, that's not me yet. Then we got Google Map Pack. Now we're going to the organic. So we got Instagram, Organic 1, Instagram, Organic 2. Then we got Organic 3, me. Organic 4, me. Organic 5, me. Organic 6, me. Organic 7, me. Organic 8, me. Organic 9, not me. Organic 10, me. So I did this in 10 days. I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots. Page 1 of Google in 10 days. And this is all by using the S-cubed methodology. All right, we're here for the main event. We're going to check and see is this boudoir photography business have BSS for its search? It's local and its city search combined in this one. I think we're in like a small town, small city. So if we hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10, page one, Google page one slots. All right, so we're going to Aberdeen, North Carolina. All right, nice. Let's see. Aberdeen, Maysville. Nope, we ain't searching for that. All right, nope, nope, nope. Had that. Nope, 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 nope. Here we go. We got one. Oh, she's in North Carolina and NYC. Okay. Okay, we got 1 out of 10. All right, so we got 1 out of 10. And since we got 1 out of 10, we got BSS for this local/city search, and we also did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page one Google slots. All right, so if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you've done your local search, your city local searches, city searches with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city, and you got 0 slots for any of them, at least one of them, and or you're not reaching the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one Google search for at least one of them, and you've accepted the false belief of page one equality is exactly that, a false belief. So you know we can actually take as many slots on page one Google search as we want. Then, well, Andrew's saying SQ methodology is the only solution to give you those slots, and it's actually something you've been waiting for. And you're loving the initial benefits, more slots, page one Google search, kick in competing boudoir photographers off page one Google search, relegate them to page 2 or page 3 or deeper, and never actually having to kind of deal with them as competitors anymore, making them disappear to approximately 80% of Google searches, so approximately 80% of the market. And you understand the market saturation, yeah, more peeps buy new gear eventually become boudoir photographers, yeah, they kind of trickle in over time. But you're looking ahead and you're seeing, okay, AI is taking peeps jobs right now, and AI is definitely going to get better and better, so it's going to take more and more peeps jobs over time. And you understand last time that happened, lots of peeps lost their job. COVID, massive wave of boudoir photographers came into the marketplace. They're like, uh-oh, massive market saturation's coming, and you're realizing you actually need to fortify your position on page one, which means have so many links that Google wants to rank on page one that there's not enough space to rank them all. So you're actually link stuffing page 2, 3, 4 onward, and basically guaranteeing no current boudoir photographer can get onto page one, and basically no future boudoir photographer that comes after AI takes their job can ever get onto page one. And you're saying, well, how to get that many links? So you're saying, oh, SQ methodology, that's the only solution. I can give you that fortification. And you're also understanding that when we successfully execute SQ methodology every single day, we're actually creating like these invisible thematic keyword columns that are plugging into our brand, like kind of 360 degrees around our brand. And these are building up back-end keyword AI mindshare for the AI systems, AI searchers out there. And so every day we do this, successfully execute SQ methodology, we're actually increasing the probability that we show up here in AI overview. The most premium placement, we cannot purchase this. And so that's a future benefit of SQ methodology. Another future benefit of SQ methodology is we are actually higher probability that we show up in AI search. So ChatGPT search, Claude, Perplexity, Google, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. And this is huge. Increasing its probability every single day is huge because more and more people using AI search every single day. Last time I did AI search for boudoir photographer in a city, I actually looked and it recommended me 3. So I went to look manually on Google and Facebook, hey, how many boudoir photographers are actually in the city? Dude, there's like 60. So if AI is only recommended 3, we gotta get there. We gotta have so much back-end AI keyword mindshare momentum that AI has to give, recommend those physicians to us. And you're also like the fact that my current plan is to work with only one boudoir photographer per city. So you're like, and yeah, you can get all these benefits, but also you can prevent your competitors from getting all these benefits, allowing you to build up a massive like AI mindshare gap, back-end AI keyword mindshare gap for the increased probability of recommended through AI overview and recommended through AI search. And you can actually deny your competitors getting that. So basically, you're able to build up a massive gap between you and your competitors, and basically make it so big that current competing boudoir photographers can never achieve it, or reach it, and future boudoir photographers can never that come in after AI takes their jobs can never catch you. So you decide you're a first mover on this. You can't miss out, and you actually want you're thinking conversely, if some other peeps, if one of your competitors were to get on the sign up with me first, you would actually lose out on all the benefits. Your competitor would begin all these links page one. I have so many links page one that actually be overflowing to the future page 2, 3, 4. You would be relegated to page 2 or deeper, and we would obviously have the goal of making you have no chance to ever get to page 1. And then we'd be building a massive keyword, backend AI keyword, kind of momentum, mindshare to get recommended AI overview, Google search, and with all the AI search apps. And for you to compete, you'd actually have to go rederive S-cubed methodology on your own, and you'd never have any idea if you've derived it. Well, you'd have to drive it for your first time for yourself. You'd never know if you successfully 100% derived it correctly. And then you'd have to equal our execution every single day. And if you did that, you'd simply be maintaining the gap that we've already massively built ahead of you. And then once that happens, you would actually have to 2 to 3x our execution every single day to start closing that gap and pulling that back-end AI mindshare away from me and your competitor's brand back towards you. But since you're not even 100% confident you've derived it correctly in the first place, it's hard to put in that much effort, something you're not confident in. And when you actually think about it, you're like, dude, who's got 80 hours per day to do all this stuff? So you decide, screw that. You're actually going to be the first mover in your city, get all these benefits. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. Our DMs are currently closed. The hospital is currently closed for new patient intake, but when we do open our DMs for new patient intake, shoot us a DM, and we will see if you qualify.